As the story continues, Jin Woo asks the cameramen to stop the recording for a moment and tells everyone to no speak this outside as Fang carefully lays Byung-yu's lifeless body next to Cha-hae. Baek turns to Jin Woo, his voice filled with concern, asking what he plans to do. But Jin Woo has no time to explain. With a focused expression, he activates his shadow extraction ability. A dark mist envelopes Byung-yu's corpse and moments later his shadow rises. Without being commanded, the shadow healer immediately begins casting a spell to recover Cha-hae. The other hunters look on in disbelief, slowly realizing that Jin Woo's true power isn't just summoning monsters, he can command the dead. Watching Byung-yu heal on his own, Jin Woo reflects on the man's character, acknowledging that even in death his compassion remained. Baek, struggling with emotion, remembers how Byung-yu always hated fighting and begs Jin Woo not to send him into battle. As Baek grabs Jin Woo's shoulder, just like he had during the Red Gate raid, Jin Woo pauses, turning to Baek, and said that Baek had catches his shoulder for second time, but now with intention of request. He is also thinking the same, and so he cancels the summoning. As Byung-yu begins to fade, he offers a warm, reassuring smile. Baek, holding back tears, thanks Jin Woo for his help. Meanwhile, back at sea, the Japanese hunters regroup aboard their ship. They discuss their next move. They've been ordered to initiate Plan Number 9. Hoshino grumbles about what had happened in the island, clearly shaken by what he saw, or rather what he couldn't even process. President Matsumoto is left stunned that the Korean hunters survived. He's especially confused by Jin Woo's sudden appearance, given that he hadn't been officially listed on the raid. Ryuji shrugs, guessing that Jin Woo simply arrived unannounced and turned the tide, sea and hurtling toward the mainland. The sentry team stationed offshore scramble to intercept them, but they quickly realize the ants are no longer just attacking, they're escaping. Hunters aboard support ships fight back with everything they have, while Choi, seeing the overwhelming numbers, orders the S-rank hunters to evacuate to the helicopter. One mage hesitates, asking why Jin Woo isn't with them. Choi explains grimly that Jin Woo stayed behind to destroy the nest and eliminate the remaining ants. There's nothing more they can do for him, but Cha-hae still needs immediate medical attention. Inside the nest, Fang scorches the ants' eggs, while Jin Woo wields the long sword of the demon monarch, summoning devastating lightning with every swing. Ants are obliterated in seconds. As the nest collapses into ash and rubble, Jin Woo realizes how powerful the weapon truly is. He leaves the rest to his shadow soldiers, who efficiently finish off the surviving insects. The experience gained from the battle pushes Jin Woo to level 100. Drawn to the Ant King's corpse, Jin Woo prepares another shadow extraction. As he invokes the spell, the world around him dims. For a moment he believes the process failed. But then the shadow of the Ant King rises, towering and regal, and then to Jin Woo's astonishment it speaks. No other shadow before had done that. The system prompts him to assign it a name, and Jin Woo quickly realizes this isn't an ordinary minion, it's a general. The creature tells him it was reborn by Jin Woo's hand and pledges loyalty as its new king. Moved by the display, Jin Woo names it Baru and then adds the other fallen ants to his growing shadow army. But peace is short-lived. Across the sea, the situation deteriorates rapidly. With their queen and king gone, the remaining ants have lost all coordination, and in that chaos they've gone berserk. Swarms take flight from the island, descending upon the sea and hurtling toward the mainland. As Jin Woo surveys the battlefield, Baru approaches and reports that over 4,000 ants have gone rogue. Shocked by the number, Jin Woo immediately orders him to exterminate them before they reach the mainland. Without hesitation, Baru takes flight. Back near the coast, chaos erupts as waves of ants slam into the defenders. Juhee, watching from a distance, gasps in horror. Is Baru? Moving at incredible speed, he's nearly invisible to the naked eye. Meanwhile, inside a helicopter, the mage struggles to maintain the protective barrier as ants crash against it. Taegu and Choi try firing through the windows, but the sheer volume of enemies causes the shield to crack. Just when it looks like they're doomed, a bolt of lightning slams through the air. Jin Woo arrives, riding his dragon, and decimates the assault with his demon monarch's longsword. Relief washes over the group as Cassiol joins him, and the remaining hunters manage to push back the swarm, narrowly avoiding disaster. With the threat largely neutralized, Choi's group returns safely. Cha-hae is quickly transferred to the medical team while Gunny solemnly acknowledges the lives lost during the battle. Still, the mood is one of hard-won celebration. For the first time in years, Jeju Island has been cleared. At sea, another crisis emerges. A swarm of surviving ants approaches the Chinese fleet, but their national-level hunter steps in. With a swift movement of his twin swords, he unleashes a devastating shockwave, obliterating the insects instantly. He barely considers them a challenge and remarks that he would have rather tested himself against the Ant King. Days later, a memorial is held to honor those who perished. Crowds gather around a monument, laying flowers and offering prayers. Jinwoo arrives to the memorial and walks silently and places a flower for Byungyu and the remaining hunters. Though widely celebrated as the hero who defeated the Ant King, whispers of criticism linger. Some believe he could have intervened earlier to prevent more deaths. As the press buzzes nearby, Baek tells him to hold his head high, reminding him that he ended the nightmare. Gunny also thanks Jinwoo for backing the raid, though he still blames himself for Byungyu's fate. Jinwoo humbly admits the losses might have been less if he'd acted sooner, but Gunny insists that countless others would have died without his intervention. He warns Jinwoo that the world has seen his strength now. He won't be able to stay in the shadows for long. Their conversation shifts to what comes next. Jinwoo reveals he's planning to start his own guild, and Gunny gives his support. Across town, the Knights Guild is tasked with cleaning the ant nest. While venturing deeper into the cave, they encounter a strange figure in the restricted area. Suspicious, they move to confront him, but before they can act, his companion from shadows casually snaps his fingers, and the knights drop unconscious. The two mysterious beings, cloaked in immense power, discuss that next plan is not here and decide their mission is complete. One opens a portal and leaves without further conflict. The other, annoyed by the stench of the battlefield, vanishes soon after, just as Ailhwan silently watches from above. Elsewhere, Jinwoo sits in traffic. On a call with Eugene, he jokes about starting the guild together now that Gunny's approval is official. Songy excitedly insists she wants to join as well, prompting a brief squabble before Jinwoo ends the call. Suddenly, Gunny calls again. A B-rank gate has opened ahead, causing the gridlock. Knowing reinforcements are stuck, Jinwoo steps out to handle it alone. He approaches the gate where a staff member warns him about the danger. Jinwoo insists he'll take care of it, but as soon as he enters, the gate shifts to red. Inside the dungeon, Jinwoo is momentarily annoyed he didn't warn his mom he'd be late, but quickly refocuses. Surrounded by monsters, he summons his shadow army and expands his monarch's domain skill. The shadows tear through the creatures with terrifying efficiency. Outside, the portal at the shoreline, Cha-haen stares out at the sea. She reflects on her helplessness during the raid and quietly confides in Choi that she still isn't strong enough to stand beside Jinwoo. But her eyes burn with resolve. One day she will catch up. Back inside the gate, Jinwoo finishes clearing the dungeon. The monsters lie in ruins and his army bows before him. As he stands amidst the silence, his thoughts already drift toward the next hunt. The journey through Jeju Island may be over, but for Sung Jinwoo, the path of a hunter never ends. Thank you for watching. For more updates in Season 3, subscribe and like our channel.